Welcome to BS Draftcast, where we are Brandon and Steven, and we're back at you talking into this wild card weekend, where there's a big change coming for one of the Sunday games. Steven, how you doing today?
No, I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Just wanted to drop a little video before I head into work and these games kick off. Uh, well, first and foremost, might as well just jump right to it. The Steelers and Bills game has been postponed to 4:30 on Monday, and there's been a travel ban restricting any fans or any personnel unless you are like an EMT or firefighter or anything like that from traveling in the city of Buffalo at start going in effect at 9 p.m. today. Um, what's your thoughts on this travel ban for and the game being moved? I mean, it's snow. It's not a tsunami and the field's underwater, and I mean, I've seen some games where Buffalo has played in feet of snow, and players were shoveling. Players are getting their driveways shoveled from fans, and just it's crazy to me that they're moving a game over some snow. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised to see it too, just for the reason you just mentioned. On top of, they're only calling for like a foot, and I know that sounds like a lot to some people, but like a foot of snow, I mean that's that's really not that much, especially up in the Northeast. So yeah, I'm pretty surprised that they went ahead and pushed the game ahead and put a travel ban out. And let's be honest, they put a travel ban out over a football game, which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever.
Right. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, my opinion, your opinion don't mean shit to the governor of Buffalo. So it is what it is. But it's just it's crazy to me that they're postponing a game in a game that it's going to be a running game. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it you postpone it to Monday and it sets up for a high scoring passing air the ball out type game. But if you play this game and they do get the weather supposed to, it's going to be a running game. You're not going to be passing the ball in these. I think the weather in Kansas City is a lot worse than the weather in Buffalo. I mean, they're
Yeah.
talking -20, -10 degrees, and 60-mile-an-hour winds. But hey, no travel ban there. You better get your ass to the stadium. You want to watch that game.
That's right. Yeah, that's right, man. It's crazy. The Dolphins, man, it's gonna be really tough for them. Obviously, playing in Miami majority of the year and everything. I mean, they're in the same division with Buffalo and New England, but still, I mean,
They got that good
that's
weather.
Miami weather, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Miami weather going over to KC. So
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. It is what it is. Looks like Steelers and Bills are playing on Monday at 4:30, and let's go Pittsburgh. Just another reason for me to hate Buffalo and think that their fans are a joke. And maybe there's too much padding, too much snow to set their tables up to jump through like dumbasses. I don't know. Maybe the snow will be too tall to go over their tables. I don't know.
yeah,
Uh,
you don't want their cell phone batteries to drain because of the cold whenever they're videotaping themselves doing dumb shit for likes on TikTok.
yeah, right, right. But the first game we got today to kick off wild card weekend or mega wild card weekend as they're calling it is the Cleveland Browns and Houston Texans. And man, I think this might be the best game of the weekend right here. Honestly, you got two teams that are very unfamiliar with the postseason and the playoffs, and you got a young head coach in D'Amico leading them Texans and C.J. Stroud doing the damn thing, and then you got Joe Flacco revitalizing in Cleveland, and uh, I think this could be a just a shootout. Joe Flacco loves to throw the ball. The Houston Texans love throwing the ball. The Cleveland Browns defense has taken a step back, especially on the road. Um, if if the Cleveland Browns defense, for me, if they can get back to their week 1 through week 10 performances, they might blanket the Houston Texans. But if you get the Cleveland Browns defense that has been giving up a ton of yards, I mean they make their plays, but they've been giving up points and yards. I think you can get into a shootout where the last person with the ball ends up winning this game. What's your thoughts on this game?
No, I agree with everything you said. I definitely agree with the last person that has the ball is going to potentially win the game. I'm looking at the Browns injuries right now, and specifically on defense, Grant Delpit was out. One Thornhill was questionable. Denzel Ward questionable. So there's some pretty big names there. You know, Miles Garrett, he did not participate, but it was for personal reasons. He's most likely fine. But
Right.
yeah, so they got a banged up defense right now. Greg Newsome did not participate from a knee with a knee injury. So there's some big names on that Cleveland defense that didn't participate in practice. So probably be game time decisions. I'm assuming. Will Anderson's still nursing that ankle injury that he's been kind of dealing with the last few weeks as well, and Jonathan Greener's also got an ankle injury. So a lot of injuries going into this game, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, and obviously like we touched on before with the Texans, not having Tank Dell, that kind of takes the wind out of the sails. But hopefully Nico Collins can keep on the tear that he's on and step up for the Texans.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Honestly, I would assume the questionable players they're going to be out there for their team. Barring they get hurt again or how severe it is. But that is something definitely to pay attention to because those are on the back end, which is the bread and butter of that Cleveland Browns defense, and that you don't have them couple guys on the back end. I mean that could be detrimental, and you're looking at a shutdown secondary compared to you might have a bunch of holes in the secondary. So that's definitely something you might have to play into fact and look at, and if you're betting this game, I'm all over the over, which is 43 and a half or 44 and a half, something like that. I'm taking the over. I don't give a damn if it's 50. I just think that this game turns into a shootout. It's what everybody wants. It's what everybody wants to see, and I think I'd like to see the Texans squeak it out. But honestly, I think the Browns might take this one in a very close game, like a maybe like a 20 like a 30 to 27 or a 27-24, something like that kind of game. That's where I'm at with that. It's just it's very it's setting up for honestly the best game of the weekend. Just the storyline, one, you have this rookie quarterback who led your team to the playoffs, and the Texans are doing the damn thing, and it's if they had Tank Dell, I could only imagine the sky's the limit. But then you have Joe Flacco, who was sitting on his couch, came into Cleveland and led them into the playoffs. So I'm excited for this game. I can't wait for this game. Uh, yeah. Moving on to the second game for today is the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. We touched base on it. Miami going up to Kansas City, or I guess up and over to Kansas City. It's supposed to be frigid. It's supposed to be disgusting. It's supposed to be some nasty weather out there. And it's hard for me to think. I mean, McDaniels might be drawing up some of the craziest pass plays where Tua passes it to the left side of the field and it flies all the way to the right and Tyreek Hill's over there waiting on it. I mean, the man comes up with some stuff. So you never know what he's drawing up over there. But I think he'll have his team ready to play. But they are still banged up. They are hurting on defense. Their defense hasn't looked great. Um, for me, it's hard to go against Patty Mahomes, man. In Kansas City, I know they've looked tough. They haven't looked great. Um, I just I can't bring myself to take the Miami Dolphins over Kansas City. Going into Kansas City, especially in this weather. I think the ground game, obviously Miami runs the ball very well, but I think the cold might be a factor. What's your insight on this game?
No, I agree with it. I agree with that because with the way the weather is going to be and everything, I think that some guys will show up to play, but I think what Miami keeps doing is that they shoot themselves in the foot and they fall off late in games. So they need to get established early and get guys like Tyreek Hill rolling, get guys like Devon A. Chain rolling. Um, they have to get those key guys going, but I don't know. I don't know if Mostert's going to play. He's still dealing with that foot injury, um, knee injury. But I don't know if he's going to be playing. Hopefully they can get him back and get that 1-2 punch going. 'Cause like you said, I think it's going to be a lot of pound on the rock, and Jeff Wilson's been running well, so maybe get a little three-headed monster type deal going and get something on the ground. But with the Chiefs, if their receivers can hold on to a damn ball, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is getting it there. I mean, it's hitting them in their hands, in their chest, and they're dropping it. So the Chiefs, this could be a really sloppy game. If we're being
Yes,
honest, I think
I
it could be
agree.
like, yeah, I think it could be sloppy. I think with some of the mistakes that just mental errors that the Chiefs have been making, and then the Dolphins just have a blunder at the end of every game. It seems like the last few weeks. And I don't know. I think the Chiefs are going to come out with it, but I think this one could honestly go either way because if the Chiefs make the mistakes that they've been making on offense, then they're not going to be able to do anything either. So it could be a low scoring game.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, especially with the temperatures. I actually just got a notification on my phone saying that the wind chill is going to be up to negative 30 degrees.
Oh hell no! Watching from my couch. Yeah.
So I actually have a buddy that I'm friends with, just with the sports memorabilia. Him and his son are heading out to Kansas City as we speak to go watch this game, and he's a Dolphins fan. So I was like, man, more power to you going out to this game. uh, I I was at the AFC Championship game with the Pittsburgh versus New England when the Steelers played New England Patriots, and it was negative 15, negative 20, and you had a beer in your hand and you couldn't drink it fast enough because it would freeze. So I know what that's like, and there was not a damn thing to cheer about whenever you're a Pittsburgh fan when you're getting beat 35-3. That was a miserable game. We stayed true. We stayed the whole game, but man, it was definitely miserable. But back to like touching base with the Dolphins and the weather and the climate, I think the one player that is going to show up and he's going to do his thing because he obviously was in Kansas City is Tyreek Hill. He knows how to acclimate in his body, and him being a
Yes.
veteran, hopefully he's going to help them younger guys, A Chain, Jalen Waddle, to hopefully he's going to help them guys prepare and get their bodies ready for that the piss poor weather that they're going to have. So I think that veteran presence, especially coming from Kansas City, where he played, he spent all them years. I think that's a very big help on that Miami side. And like you said, I think McDaniel's has that team ready. I think they that big blow losing the division to Buffalo over the past weekend, it really put a chip on their shoulder. But it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes and that Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid in Kansas City at home in some terrible weather. It's hard to bet against them. So I agree with you. I think it's a low scoring game, but I think that the Kansas City Chiefs squeak this one out because another big thing in these type of conditions, and you hear it all the time from kickers. That ball is like it's like kicking an ice cube, and kicking
Hmm.
field goals is a big deal in this kind of weather. And obviously, with the Chiefs kicker, he's used to it. He knows what to do. He knows how to prepare for it. And hopefully, that in the Miami, their kicker's trying to get acclimated and trying to figure it out. Which actually, fun fact, completely off topic. I did not know that the Baltimore Ravens have a kicking plant, like a spot next to their practice field that is designed specifically for Justin Tucker, and it's the same grass, same type everything that Pittsburgh has, the Steelers, and it's for him to practice his planting foot and his kicking off of whenever the Steelers you're in that stadium and it's super wet and it's soggy and it's the same exact feel and the same exact type of field. And Justin Tucker had them put that in so that he could kick field goals in Pittsburgh Stadium because everyone knows that it's one of the hardest places to kick a field goal. So I don't know if you knew that, but I learned that yesterday. Actually, a little fun fact that's pretty cool. That just goes to show of how great Justin Tucker actually is. That he knows that that's one of the hardest stadiums to kick in, and he's doing everything he can to be the one of the best to kick in that stadium.
That's amazing. I did not know that. That's actually really cool that they were able to put that together.
Yeah, I learned that yesterday. Actually, I was watching a video of something, and it was Justin Tucker talking about. It. He's like, "Yeah, I had him put in a piece of field, and if I know it's going to be sloppy mess and it's going to be nasty, he's like, I have them go out there and just dump water all over it, so it imitates the field when it's a torrential downpour, and I go out there and plant my foot in it, so I know what I need to do." Which that's impressive, if I'm being honest. It's
That
actually kind
is,
of
yeah.
crazy.
That's why he's one of the goats. Yeah.
So moving on to the Sunday, well not Sunday, I guess Sunday afternoon game at 4:30. You got the Green Bay Packers versus the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of people were picking the Packers to be the upset, the the team that shocks the world, I guess, your underdog story. Um, Everyone has the Pittsburgh Steelers wrote off, which we'll touch base on them. Obviously, we touched base on them first thing, but we'll touch base on them again when we get up to the Monday night game. But Green Bay is a very I don't even know what the word is. I know we say young, but they're very like under the radar. It depends on what Jordan Love they get. Can they keep up with Dallas? Dallas putting up points. Can their defense get a stop when they need it? So on and so forth. Um, the Packers. I just can't see the Packers winning this game in Dallas. I just can't. I'm sorry. Everyone knows I'm not a Dallas fan, but I just I think Dallas is rolling. Uh, they were I like what they did against the Redskins. They went out and beat the living hell out of them and showed like, hey, we're not resting our starters. We're here to play and we're gonna keep this train rolling. We don't want that week off or 2 weeks. Yeah, week off to slow us down in any way, shape, or form. So for me, I almost say Dallas beats them by 2 touchdowns. Just Green Bay's Packers defense just hasn't been that great. And if you get turnover, Jordan Love, Dallas is going to run away quick with this game. And that's what Dallas does. They force turnovers. Michael Parsons going to wreak havoc per usual. That's what he does. Um, I just I don't know. I don't see I can't lean on the Packers and think that they're going to go and walk into Dallas and beat Dallas, especially how good Dallas has been at home. And it, I mean, it's Green Bay. It's one of them teams that was on the brink of like, do they even deserve to be in this game? So, what's your thoughts? Do you think Green Bay has any shot in beating Dallas at home with how great Dallas has been at home? And any key injuries going into this game?
Honestly, I mean, we talked about on the last two podcasts. I've kind of been singing the Packers' praises a little bit, and I don't want to be like redundant or anything, but I mean, yeah, I could see them honestly pulling an upset over Dallas. I mean,
Okay,
it,
okay.
yeah, I can see it happening. Not saying that it will. I think that Dallas. Oh man, I'm trying to get the bias out of the way with the old school Cowboys of
Yeah,
blowing
yeah.
it in the playoffs. But yeah, I
Hey, I
just
mean, it's been a repetitious thing. It's not just from back in the day. They've been continually blowing these playoff chances. So
They have, but they look good. They're relatively healthy. I mean, for the most part, like they're one of the more healthy teams in the league, to be honest with you. And they lost Tyron Smith, which sucks. But they have Tyler Smith to take over, and he played really well his rookie season, and I think he can kick out to the left side and go back to being that guy. But Packers, they got some injuries, man. AJ Dillon, he's been hurt for the past couple of weeks, but Jair Alexander was questionable with a shoulder. Romeo Doubs has a chest injury that was from that big hit he took last week, and
yep.
Elton Jenkins, their All-Pro guard, also hurt, dealing with a knee injury. Jaden Reed, chest injury. So that's a lot of those, and Christian Watson still hurt. So I mean, that's a lot of those guys that I was referring to, where like they're just such a young, up and coming, exciting team to watch. But one thing I'll say is like, man, Jordan Love really he has this ability to. I mean, he hits everybody. He doesn't have like his typical go-to receiver type of guy. He hits everyone, tight ends, running backs out of the backfield, and Aaron Jones. They've been getting him rolling. He's back to being healthy and everything, and he's really been rolling. So I think the Packers could potentially pull out an upset against the Cowboys. I really do. But that Cowboys defense is fierce, and god dang, CeeDee Lamb. If they don't have Jair Alexander, the Packers, if they don't have Jair Alexander out there covering CeeDee Lamb, it could be a long day.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, CeeDee Lamb has just week in and week out shown up and showed out. So uh, I me personally, I want Packers obviously to win, but I just can't see it. Uh, the Sunday night game, the storyline continues. You got the Matthew Stafford led Rams going to the Jared Goff led Detroit Lions, where obviously the trade happened and they sold the farm for Matthew Stafford. He got him Super Bowl. Now he's going back, quote unquote, home. Matthew Stafford might go to the wrong locker room when he shows up because of how that's home. I don't care what anyone says, that's his home. I will forever look at Matthew Stafford as the Detroit Lions, Calvin Johnson, so on and so forth. Uh, mm, every part of me. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let you take this one off the gate, and then I'll come in on the back end and I'll give my thoughts on it. What's your thoughts on this Rams Detroit Lions game?
Oh man, I think this one's going to actually be a sleeper game. I mean, I think that once again the Lions are going to go as far as Jared Goff will take them.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I look at it is Sam Laporta going to play? You know, like that's a big one. Like, is Sam Laporta going to play? He's listed as questionable currently with that knee issue that he sustained, and is he going to play? Because that's Jared Goff's guy. I mean, him, Amon-Ra St. Brown, like those are his guys. So take him out of the dynamic, then the Lions lose a big portion of their offense because he has a rookie tight end. I mean, he's been unbelievable. But not having him could be a big blow. Not having Brian Branch could be a big blow, but he was a full participant, so he's going to play. Then on to the Rams, man. Puka Nacua. My God, Puka Nacua is just like you said last week. He's like
Luka
Dallas
Doncic.
Mavericks. Yeah, Luka
Puka.
Doncic, man. He's just slow and like plods around, but he's smooth with his routes. Great hands. Obviously Cooper Cup and Kyron Williams, man. Like the Rams, Matthew Stafford may want to come in there and be like, yeah, you see, you traded me, type of deal. But Jared Goff's got that same sentiment. So, man, I don't know. That's a tough game to choose between. I'm going with the Lions. You know what? I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah, that's. I'm I've looked at this game over and over. I've stared at it. I've tried to come up with something, and I look at it, and it's one of them things where you look at this game, and obviously you have the storyline, the Matthew Stafford traded to the Rams and Jared Goff, and you see what Jared Goff has done. Uh, just these past 2 years. I mean, he's looked great. I mean, obviously he has had his games where he's turning the ball over and he doesn't look so great. But as you said, they're gonna go as far as Matthew or Jared Goff lets them go. Um, Laporta, like you said, huge uh, question mark. There
This
is
feels a little
there
square
is
because
no
they're going to be such a
there is no guarantee on him coming, and I know that injury at first it looked bad, especially him getting on the cart. I mean that ain't no joke. Whenever you get on a cart and getting taken to the locker room, so I think that's a big question mark with Laporta. I think it boils down to, I was just reading, it's going to be clearance. If he can get cleared ahead of kickoff, yeah. So they have James Mitchell, who he played pretty well. Uh, actually, I lied. Looking at the injury report, James Mitchell is ruled out.
Yeah, he's out, and Brock Wright has a hip injury, but he was a full participant.
So, I mean, and they're losing Jerry Jacobs at the corner position. Um, everything in me says Lions. That's where I want to go. I want I just think it's gonna be one of them games where if Detroit cannot contain Puka or Cooper Cup, or if they can't stop the run, it could be a long day for the Lions. If they can
Yes.
contain them, and you're not going to stop them, you have to hope to contain them. And when they get in the red zone, you can't give up them touchdowns. I mean, yes, you're going to give up a touchdown, but you have to be able to force them to field goals. uh, they need to get Amara involved big time, and they got to get Jameer Gibbs in the running game and passing game like they have been, especially if Laporta's out. They have to get them guys involved, and I'm sure McVay knows that. But they can't double cover everyone. Someone has to get open. So they might need a big step up from Jamison Williams, which we've all seen his explosiveness. For me, I'm going Lions. I can't see Dan Campbell losing this game at home. He's going to have that team ready with or without Laporta. He's going to have Jared Goff's head right. He's going to come up with a game plan to get these receivers and Jameer Gibbs' explosiveness involved. And I'm calling Lions. I think Lions at home. They move on, and that's where I'm riding with.
This
uh,
next game.
yes.
This next game.
Oh, barn burner of a game we got here.
Yep. Late game. Go to bed early.
Oh, Monday night, 8 p.m. The Philadelphia Eagles and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Where to even begin? How the Philadelphia Eagles weren't they 10-0 at one point?
Yeah, I think they were 10-0.
Like, am I wrong? I'm pretty. They were 10-0, right? Like, I'm pretty sure they were 10-0. Yes. No.
What happened?
No. They're 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 5-1, and then they won. They were 10-1.
That's it.
They were 10-1. This team was 10-1,
Yep.
and
What do you think the
I don't
impact of him
understand what the hell happened. Um, Obviously the tush push is the tush push. It's you can't stop it, but they can't tush push 99 yards. I mean, maybe they could. I mean, sometimes Jalen gets 3 yards, sometimes he gets 1. I don't know what the answer is. I just, man, I can't see the Eagles losing. I just can't. They have to figure you. I mean, they have to win eventually, right?
They
I
have
mean,
to beat the Buccaneers.
I mean, am I wrong? Like, they have to win eventually, right? If the Eagles do not win this game, and granted, the the Eagles are favored in Tampa. So what's that say about Tampa? Tampa Bay is a home team, is the home team, and they're the underdog.
Yeah.
I I don't even know what to say. I mean, I am baffled that this team dropped 5 of their last 7 games. Yeah, and the only win they had was back on the 25th of December, and they almost lost that game against the New York Giants.
Yeah. The Giants.
And then they got throttled by the Giants at the end of the season.
The Giants.
Cool. With the third string Tyrod Taylor.
I can't emphasize that enough. The Giants.
I just don't get it. I don't understand what happened. I know that Darius Slay has been hurt, in and out, but the Eagles have to win. I cannot put my money anywhere else but the Eagles. They have to win. Uh, what is your thoughts? Any key injuries with this game? I know there's one huge key injury, obviously, for the Eagles, but I'll let you touch base on the injuries coming into this game. Uh, what's your thoughts? Eagles Buccaneers 8:15.
Dude, I'm right there with you with this game. Like the Eagles. So injuries, real quick. Chris Godwin, injured. He has a knee injury. He did not participate in practice. Tristan Wirfs has an illness. He'll probably play, but he did not participate. Baker Mayfield's still dealing with that nagging ankle injury he's been dealing with. He did
Yeah,
not
he's pretty
participate.
banged up. I think they said he has a hand injury too, or something, shoulder, hand. He's banged up. So
Yeah, he's all kinds of banged up. He's not doing too hot himself. And the Eagles, Sidney Brown, rookie safety, he did not participate. with a knee injury. Darius Slay was a full participant, which is good news. Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift, both full participants. Jalen was limited. He has that finger injury, and I'm going to touch on that here in a second. But AJ Brown is obviously the big one. He's not going to play,
Right.
and yeah, he's already ruled out. But Jalen Hurts, that finger injury, it didn't look good.
They said it was
Like,
dislocated.
Yeah, it didn't look good whenever they closed up on it. It didn't look good. So, if I'm not mistaken, it's on his throwing hand.
Yes.
So, this game could be a dumpster fire.
Yes.
This game, it could be a dumpster fire, man. I mean, theoretically, I can envision a big day from Gainwell and DeAndre Swift because they may just try to pound the rock and protect that finger and not have an A.J. Brown. I mean, they have Devontae, but, oh, man, this game's going to be – I think it's going to be ugly. I really do.
Who do you lean on? Do you think that the Eagles have to win? Or do you think that these Buccaneers continue this dumpster fire of whatever's happening and keep burning Philly to the ground?
Dude, I don't – oh, man. This one's the wild card, dude, like literally. But, yeah, this one here, I mean, the Eagles couldn't do shit with A.J. Brown there. Like, and now Jalen's throwing hands banged up. Like, dude, if the Bucs didn't have so many noticeable injuries on theirs, I'd say the Bucs are going to pull it out. I guess depending on how severe Baker's freaking ankle injury is, the Bucs might pull this one out over Philly. Which is sad to say because Phillies fans are a bunch of assholes. But, like, I love their players, their teams, their coach. Like, I love everything they do over there. But, man, that team is they're just a fish out of water right now. They're just floundering. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know what happened either. I have no idea. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. I'm mind blown. I'm baffled. Staying on this game for a quick topic. Does Nick Sirianni get fired if the Eagles get blown out Monday? Because of the abomination that has happened over the last 7 weeks?
I don't think he'll get fired, man. But I don't know what the hell. I just don't know what changed.
I can tell you who deserves to be fired.
I don't know what changed.
Their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, their defensive coordinator, man.
I mean, this defense didn't change much, and I think they got better when they made the trade to the Titans, and they literally look like I don't even know what to say. I'd put Seattle in over the Eagles right now.
Yeah.
I'd put the New Orleans Saints over the Eagles right now.
Oh, I don't know about yeah, I don't know, man. Honestly, yeah.
New Orleans is playing defense.
Yeah, no, but Seattle especially, man. Like, dude, I just don't know what happened to Philly. I don't.
They were
I've never this was one of the worst late season breakdowns I've ever seen.
They were 10-1, bro. They were
10-1,
and they finished the season 11-6.
They looked unstoppable. Like they did. Like they looked unstoppable. I mean, obviously the push, blah blah blah. But like, I don't know what happened. Like Jalen he started kind of reverting back to his old habits. If you watch him, he looked uncomfortable and he was kind of getting antsy, and like his mechanics weren't right with his feet. You know, and he would go to drive the ball, and it's like, what? You know, like, I don't know. Like somebody needs to pull him and just be like, dude, like you need to just settle down.
And the turnovers.
Settle down.
Whew. The turnovers.
Settle down. Yeah, the fumbles, like I said, it's just a blunder. I mean, they've been on a roll of just making mistakes, mental errors, blowing games. Like the Giants.
And they almost lost to twice. They lost to the Cardinals, which Pittsburgh lost to the Cardinals too. So whatever. But I'm looking at the stats, and if you told me at the beginning of the season, Jalen Hurts is gonna have a worse year than Baker Mayfield, I would have told you I'd bet everything I own on it. Baker Mayfield has 4,000 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Jalen Hurts has 3,800 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. And I don't even have the fumbles pulled up because it's probably at least fucking double digits. I I don't know. I just don't. I can't see the Eagles losing. Maybe Nick Sirianni comes out and lines up in the tush push all game long and literally does not get out of it and goes stop us. And he doesn't throw the ball at all. They have 11-minute drives every time they have the ball, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are treated like you're playing in a Madden tournament, and they see the ball twice. I don't know. Oh man.
I don't know either with this game. I mean, like I said, this could be a really sloppy game.
I'm riding with the Eagles. If the Eagles, I'm riding with the Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles.
The Eagles' defense is going to have to.
They're gonna have to have
They're
30
just going to have
sacks.
to, yeah, put the Bucks in a box, and they're going to do the whole Ray Lewis thing. Like, give us 10 points.
Yes.
That's all we need. Just give us the offense. Give us 10 points or 13. I forget what Ray said, but it was like 13 points or something like that. He said, "Give me 13 points. That's all I need, and we'll shut their offense down." Like that's what they're going to have to do. Jalen Carter's going to have to be a menace, like he has been. Hassan Reddick's going to have to be a menace. Yeah, that's the Phillies going to have to. The defense going to have to win that game because I don't know what's wrong with their offense, but they ain't playing right.
Yeah, it's bad, and it's putting their defense in a bad position, and their defense hasn't stopped a cold since this slump, this debacle of a season has came unglued. So I'm riding with the Eagles. What's your pick, Tampa or Eagles? You think there's an upset?
I just can't get with the Giants, man. You lost to the Giants, dude.
You didn't lose. You got throttled by the Giants.
You got manhandled. You got steamrolled by the Giants. Oh man. Yeah, I'm still gonna roll with Philly too. Yeah, I'm still gonna roll with Philly. I think my upset game of the weekend will probably be the Packers Cowboys, but yeah, I gotta roll with Philly. I mean, they can't lose to the Bucks, right?
That's where I'm at. If Philly fans, if there's any Philly fans listening to this and watching this right now, if Philly blows this game and loses, Philly is forever banned from any betting sheet I ever bet on until they fire their entire coaching staff and they figure it out. And that's that. Moving on. The game we talked about when we first
Weather
opened
and wind
up.
will be a big factor in.
I don't know why ESPN keeps playing these videos on autoplay, and it's annoying. So I have to pause them every time. So there's gonna be
I hate that. Yeah.
there's gonna be little snippets of some clown talking about the weather and the wind. Pittsburgh 10-point dogs against Buffalo. If Pittsburgh was playing Sunday at 1 p.m. like they were supposed to, or 4 p.m., 1 p.m. was the original time. 10-point dogs. I'm taking Pittsburgh all day long. Pittsburgh can run the ball. The team looks like it looks like a different team with Mason Rudolph under the center. They look like they're playing a lot harder for Mason Rudolph, which I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's just the way they look. Now, I do believe Buffalo would win that game outright, but a close game, not a 10-point blowout. With the game being moved to Monday at 4:30 p.m., it sets up for some players to be healthy and come back, give them that couple extra days. I know Gabe Davis was ruled out. I don't know if he is going to be still ruled out, and I know Rasul Douglas is questionable, and he had that knee injury, and he hasn't practiced all week. So, I don't know. Does Pittsburgh have a shot? If they rush for 200 yards, I think Pittsburgh has a real shot of winning this game. Obviously, turnovers, big deal. Can't turn the ball over. but I think Pittsburgh's Cinderella story getting in and the offense figuring it out the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks that Mason Rudolph has been at the helm. I think it comes crashing down. And that's just being a realistic Steeler fan. Obviously, I'm pulling for my Steelers. I want Pittsburgh to win. I want Pittsburgh to move on. We go to Baltimore, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like the writing is all in Buffalo's favor with the game being postponed. Uh, those kind of weather conditions. Don't get me wrong, Buffalo can run the ball pretty well, but they can't run the ball like Pittsburgh has been running the ball with those road graders up front. And in those kind of conditions, that sets up for a perfect game to just run the ball over and over and over and over. And granted, Buffalo has a two-headed monster in James Cook and Josh Allen running the ball, but it's a different dynamic when you're running the ball from shotgun with Josh Allen to just handing the ball off to Najee or Jalen Warren. So I think if the weather's good and it sets up to have the passing and they can obviously run the ball, pass the ball. I think Buffalo pulls this off. What's your thoughts on this game? Obviously, T.J. Watt being out is a big detrimental blow, but what's your thoughts with this game coming up on Monday now at 4:30 instead of Sunday at 1 o'clock?
Well, I think the weather's still going to be crappy, so I think that it's going to still consist of both teams trying to pound the ball. But
I'm gonna look that up.
one thing that Pittsburgh really needs to do is if Josh Allen has turnovers, which Josh Allen's prone to doing, they have to capitalize on it. They need to capitalize on his turnovers. They need to pound the ball with Najee, pound the ball with Jalen Warren, and play mistake-free football on offense, and then let the defense do what they do. Obviously, not having T.J. Watt that is a huge blow to that team. But it's kind of balanced injury-wise. Um, if Gabe Davis is if he's officially ruled out, then that's a huge help. Not having to worry about him, because if you shut down Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis gets rolling, and tight ends they start getting rolling. You gotta try and capitalize on the Bills, on Josh Allen making mistakes. But the thing you need to watch with Josh Allen is when he starts running. When he starts running and you start kind of taking your attention away from him running and focusing on pass coverage, and then he starts taking off, that's whenever teams they get in a bind, because they're more worried about covering as opposed to keeping their eye on Josh Allen, and that dude can move. And once he starts getting downhill, he's a load, especially in the red zone. So it's just gonna have to just keep a hat on a hat. And as for Pittsburgh on their side too, it's like if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna pound the ball and stuff, like Mason has to make those crucial throws on 3rd and 6 if the run game's not going. He needs to make those throws, convert those first downs, get Deontay involved, get Fryermuth involved, get Pickens involved, like get everybody rolling. But I think it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a classic football game. It's going to be defense and pounding the ball. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. I think the Bills should, for all intents and purposes, pull it out.
I agree. I'm actually looking at the forecast for uh, Monday. I actually have it up on the stream, and the 10-day is showing obviously snow, 25 to 35 mile per hour winds, 80% chance of snow. This is for Sunday. 25 to 35 mile per hour winds, chance of snow 80%, and snow accumulating between 3 to 5 inches with heavier amounts persistent in the snow bands, which I'm pretty sure their stadium is in a snow band, which is why everything has been moved and there's been a travel ban, so on and so forth. On Monday, it's going to be colder. It's going to even be a high of 20.
Yeah.
With 25 mile per hour winds, with a 70% chance of snow, 1 to 3 inches. So the weather still ain't going to be great. Obviously, both teams are accustomed to playing in cold weather, elements, whatever. Um, yeah, it's hard for me to say that, and I don't want to be biased because I know anyone that's ever listened knows that I'm a Steeler fan, and everyone, oh, you're just picking Steelers to be in your upset, because they're the Steelers, you're your favorite team. So I'm not even gonna put myself in that situation. Um, if the Steelers run the ball for 200 yards, they could win this game.
Yes.
But like I said, I'm not putting myself in that position. I'm not setting myself up for failure, and everyone just saying I'm being biased and blah blah blah. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers cover the 10-point spread? I 100% think they do. I think it's a low scoring game just because of the elements. And actually, the line even says it's going to be a low scoring game. It's over under is 36.5. So, um, unfortunately, I think Buffalo squeaks this out, maybe by a field goal, maybe a touchdown, at max. But it's I was really hoping for that old school feel football. The snow's pouring down. The big linemen are just it's a hat on a hat, just a push and battle up front, and who runs the ball more physical. I remember back whenever I was at the stadium with the Brian Urlacher days, whenever Jerome Bettis ran his ass over into the end zone and the just down just a down pour of snow. We were at the stadium, the Steelers stadium, and that's what I was kind of hoping for. I'm not obviously going to the game, but watching it at home. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're gonna get that feel like we have for many years. And I honestly can't ever remember a game being postponed for snow. But this is a new NFL we're in, and I get it. Safety concerns, traveling concerns. They don't want to put anyone at risk, but at the same time, it's it's a game. It's a football game, and that's why these people have these. That's why there is home field advantage for teams like Kansas City, Buffalo. They're outdoors. They're in the elements. They're in the snow, and it's kind of mind blowing to me. But it is what it is. I want Pittsburgh to win. I want Pittsburgh to continue the Cinderella story when they were counted out. As I stated last podcast, they don't deserve to even be in the playoffs, but they're here, and I'm gonna cheer them on. Um, so going back, my upset of the weekend, I'm gonna have to ride with you on the same thing. It's gonna have to be the Packers. I'm gonna have to go with the Packers as well. That's gonna be the upset. That's the upset I'm calling with you, right there with you as I was sitting here thinking about it. Um, there's just this weekend of games is very interesting to say the least.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Some odd matchups, some very unfavorable matchups for certain teams, but I'm just hoping for some good football. Like we said, you might be able to go to bed early uh, on Monday because of the night game with the Eagles and the Buccaneers. But I'm really hoping for some good matchups, some good games. Uh, and that's it. I mean, that's pretty much all we got. I mean, if the Browns beat the Texans and the Steelers lose, the Browns are heading to heading over to Baltimore, down to Baltimore, and we'll definitely be covering that game with your beloved Ravens. We'll be covering whoever they play, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else. Anything else you want to touch base on? I'll go over my picks once we close out. But anything else you want to touch base on before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I got two brief things. One of them's funny, and the other one's somewhat serious. But uh, I wanted to point out that so Deion Dawkins, offensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills, he was a limited participant. He has a hand injury. So depending on the severity of the hand injury, I don't think people realize how important it is for an offensive tackle to use their hands.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be able to punch as well, be able to get on Alex Highsmith the way he wants to. So that could be a matchup to watch. I know a lot of people don't really watch the offensive line, the defensive line. I enjoy watching it. And so that could
I
open
like
up
that. I
a
like
good
that.
possibility for Alex Highsmith to have a a decent guy. I'm not saying he's going to get 7 sacks or anything crazy, but
Right.
I mean, it could pose some problems for Buffalo's offensive line with Deion Dawkins having that hand injury, which Deion Dawkins is one of the better offensive tackles in the league. But that's something to keep an eye on.
No,
The other thing
I
is,
like that. That's a good. I like that you touch base on that because I didn't even know that.
yeah,
That's pretty. That's serious, honestly.
it could be. Yeah, I mean, it could be serious. Just with the T.J. Watt being out and everything. I mean, that could be something to kind of keep in the back of your mind of potentially Alex Highsmith going against Deion Dawkins with that hand injury. It could pose some problems. The other thing too is I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I had to bring it up. So I was reading this article, and Brady Quinn, one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history, he said that that Pittsburgh would basically be stupid not to start Kenny Pickett in the playoffs over Mason Rudolph. What are your thoughts?
Oh man.
Swear to God, I read that this morning and I was like, dude, I gotta tell Brandon about this, and I completely forgot until just now.
Let me see if I can find this. You said, hang on. I'm going to Google it.
Brady Quinn, Kenny Pickett.
Let me see. Oh, I think I found it. Yeah, right here. If they're not gonna go down, why not go down with the guy that you invested a first round pick and see if he can help lead you to a victory on the road? And if he can't, then that gives you a little bit more clarity going into the offseason of what positions look like. All right,
So
first
you want
off,
Pittsburgh to just count themselves out?
yeah, first off, I don't know if Brady Quinn has watched any of the games. Like, I mean, if he's watched any game since Mason Rudolph's been in at all, because if he hasn't, this would make sense. But you ask any Steeler fan across the board, and Steeler fans are homers. They're ride or die, whatever. But the team as a whole, the defense has played better. The offensive line has played better. The running game has played better. The receivers has looked better. In the same exact offense that Kenny Pickett was in when they fired Matt Canada, and Mason Rudolph has excelled every number that Kenny Pickett has put up in the 24 games that he's played, however many games. He has excelled every number that he has put up. Touchdowns, yards, completions, everything. Every single thing. Every category. The team has rallied behind Mason Rudolph. So why would you not ride that hot hand? Why is it even whenever I first said it, I said, man, I really hope they don't put Kenny Pickett in there going into playoffs. Like, oh, Kenny's our guy. We're going to put him in. Because anyone knows that just because a star is emerged and has come out and your star went down, the Mason Rudolph thing kind of reminds me of the Nick Foles story back when he led the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Honestly, this gives me that Nick Foles feeling.
Yeah.
Ride the hot hand. Mason Rudolph is playing great football. He's poised in the pocket. He's standing tall. He's taking the hits, but he's still delivering the ball downfield. Me and you are nobodies. We say it all the time. And I'm just going to come out and say it. Brady Quinn's a dumbass. I mean, I've never in my life thought that I was going to the league and going to be an NFL football player or went to college and played football. And I get it. Brady Quinn was this college standout at Notre Dame, but you were junk. You were trash in the NFL. And I don't know why you're even talking, because if you have, like I said, if you have not seen what Mason Rudolph has done over the past 4 weeks, it makes sense as to why you would say something like this. But Mason Rudolph gives the Steelers the best chance to win.
Yeah.
And if Mason Rudolph comes out and loses his mind and throws 3 interceptions in the first quarter, absolutely pull him, throw Kenny in, and see what happens. But you don't have a guy on cloud nine and on a pedestal that is putting up the stats that he is, and the running game running the way they are, and the receivers getting involved the way they are, and the ball's downfield, so the defense has to respect the ball being thrown over their head instead of having 8 guys in the box and the safeties are 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. You don't just take that away and go, yeah, we don't trust him. To me, that's just that's mind blowing that this bum ass Brady Quinn would even say something like that. I mean, Brady Quinn, you were trash whenever you came to the pros. You weren't that good in college. You played for Notre Dame, who played absolutely no one, who always has played no one. Until Notre Dame plays someone, they shouldn't even be in the talks of greatness. So, I that's mind blowing that he even said that. I don't know if there's any sports analysis in the world that would even think that is reputable. That would be like, yeah, Kenny Pickett should be starting over Mason Rudolph. and actually, there's more to what he said. He said, "I understand you want to win." Brady Quinn said, you've had this momentum now, but there still has to be a longer term vision of it. This guy's healthy. Let's put him in there. Let's play him." No, no. If you, I understand. I understand the second half of that. You want to see if Kenny Pickett's that guy, but
Yeah.
why do you want to punish your team in a playoff scenario of? And why not put the guy that has put up the most reputable stats so far this year and has led your team and kept them alive in the playoffs? And why take that away from him when he's rolling right now? And then you put in a Kenny Pickett who's going to pirouette to the left-hand side where it's off his not even to his throwing hand, so he's throwing across his body. He can't get to his hips in place, and he does it 9 times a game. He's scared to death to stand in the pocket and get hit, which, whatever. Everyone knows my stance on Kenny Pickett. But, yes, you do want to know long term. And over 24 games, you should already have your answer of your long term vision. He's not the guy. And I'm not saying Mason Rudolph's that guy either, but ride the hot hand.
Yeah.
It's simple. This is simple. 1 + 1 = 2. I mean, Brady Quinn's a dumbass. He is an absolute moron. I hope someone that is watching or when this video gets posted on YouTube, I hope someone tags him 5 million times so he has to come watch this. Post the time stamp in it at 50 minutes into the video that I'm dogging Brady Quinn, because I would love to have Brady Quinn on here to explain his thought process and how brain dead he actually sounds. Because it's crazy. It's honestly crazy. It's crazy to me. I
I
don't
he's
know.
like that.
Coming from a bum, if Peyton Manning said something like this, I won't even go as far as Peyton Manning. I'll give you Tim Tebow. If Tim Tebow said this, I would have more respect for it than that. Like, calm down, fucking Ryan Leaf 2.0. Like, God.
Like Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah. Like, what the hell? Oh, man. Wow. No, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good conversation piece there. I like that. But yeah, so Brady Quinn, you're trash. You're more than welcome. I hope someone tags him, finds his handle. I will post this clip on TikTok. So I'm sure Brady Quinn has TikTok. Everyone tag him. Tell him to get a hold of us. Somehow, just reach out to us. I will fire up the podcast immediately. We'll get Brady Quinn on the call, and I will call him an idiot to right to his ears, I guess you could say, because it wouldn't be to his face. But I'll call him an idiot to his ears. So, with that being said, anything else you wanna rustle up?
Nope, that was it. Yeah, that was the grand finale, the coup de grace.
All right, well, perfect. I appreciate anyone that is tuned in and is watching. We have a couple people watching again, which is great. Love to see it. We'd want to hear you guys' feedback. What's your thoughts? If you guys are riding with my picks, you guys are thinking the same thing we're thinking. We want to hear your thoughts on what you think with the Buffalo and Steelers game getting moved and where football's going. With that being said, we are Brandon and Steven. We are BS Draftcast, and because we like the bullshit about football.